Guys, so I just installed Hans VR lenses to my Pimax Crystal and I'm blown away by the picture quality. The resolution is simply insane. This headset has 3K screens for each eye, but I'm running simulator at 100% resolution and the game renders over 4K for each eye. And yeah, this is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and you can see it is running smooth even in this insane resolution. And I will explain how I got this to run. And I'm gonna tell more about this headset because I think people are super underrating Pimax. They are overhyping all these new micro OLED headsets. Even if you want the best visual quality, I think Pimax Crystal is exactly a headset you want to go. So first of all, I have been using can this radar just shut up? So first of all, I have been using Quest Pro because it has, same lenses as a Quest 3, but it has local dimming and good colors, good blacks. Well, lenses on the Pimax are even better than the Quest. Like literally, I have larger field of view and most importantly, way better overlap at the same time. Like everything inside the cabin looks super 3D, always like each handle is poking in 3D, like I'm actually sitting in a cabin for the first time. And even the ground, it looks like far away. Like when I'm flying on a Quest, the whole image is so flat, it's like I'm looking, a flat 360 video. Basically, it has no three-dimensionality coming after the Pimax. So honestly, playing with this Crystal headset feels like playing VR for the first time because the whole game is so 3D and you feel like, the first time you are actually in this pilot cabin and flying in the actual 3D world. And then, everyone is hyping micro OLED headsets cause black levels and colors. And I'm not sure, if people, we don't even understand how these headsets work, or we purposely trying to mislead viewers to buy just the, the latest, most expensive current headset. Because the truth is, Pimax Crystal, it has even better contrast than those micro OLED headsets or PlayStation VR 2 that I had recently. And you say, oh, that's not possible, to have like better blacks than OLED. But again, we are returning to the lenses. All new micro OLED headsets have terrible lenses. They all suffer from glare. That means, light reflecting off the lenses. And that same light washes out all blacks and all colors. Like you lose contrast, you lose color saturation simply because of poor quality lenses. And I think many people do not understand that. Oh, look. The one disadvantage? Come on, Pimax. You see one disadvantage I have noticed with a Pimax Crystal. If I sit still in like flying in a simulator and look one direction, sometimes it loses tracking. Like it feels like the view is stuck to my head after I do like this circles with my head, and now you see, now I have all the tracking back again. And that's because each time you start Pimax Crystal, you need to scan your room, like look around all your room, and I don't know Is it only for flight sim? Because I'm always looking, to one spot straight. Sometimes I need to do this, head circle again to get tracking back to work. But if I'm playing, I have been playing Breachers, I have been playing VR chat, I haven't had this problem. It's only something I have noticed in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm flying and gaming all in VR on my Quest Pro most of the time, because it has the best lenses and it has local dimming like deep blacks, etc. But I think even the lenses on the Quest Pro headset, they are perfect. We have no distortions at the edges and like very high quality lenses. But because they are pancake lenses and because they lose so much light, I think it's exact cause why the pancake lenses are not good for VR in general, because no matter how well you make those lenses, you are losing so much light that you're gonna notice like lower contrast and similar issues coming out of that fact that you are losing more than half of the light using pancake lens. And of course the main advantage that Pimax is using spherical lenses on the crystal. So these lenses are exactly like your regular lens on a camera. They lose like very little light, like maybe 1% or less. Again, the tracking just sometimes like that's the main complaint. Sometimes the tracking gets screwed up and you need to do your head cycles to get back into tracking. But everything, I think FOV and this insane three-dimensionality, like it's counterweights all that poor tracking for this Pimax Crystal. And this is why I think like this Pimax Crystal Light is like the best PCVR headset you can buy right now, simply because these lenses that do not lose any light and Pimax has larger, physically larger screens. They are physically brighter than the Quest Pro, or because you are not losing any light at the lenses, they are perceived as much brighter screens. But the whole magic is that there are extra settings not only for brightness but local dimming. And if you put local dimming all the way up, it dims all the screen to like complete black. But it makes it look like an OLED. It makes it look better than OLED because these lenses and perfect black. So if you are looking for the deepest blacks and best contrast, again I think Crystal Light is the headset you want to go. If you are looking for the best field of vision, Crystal Light is the headset you want to go. And for me, it's nice to have always resolution. It's nice to have wider FOV, but I'm not even sold on these things. What really sells this headset to me is overlap and this three-dimensionality. You actually feel like inside the game, like that mountain is far, far, far away, and all these handles are like literally 3D handles in a 3D cabin that you do not see on a Quest, because on a Quest it looks like a fake flat image. And I think most of the headsets, it's not only what we suffer, not only poor lenses, but we trying to achieve the widest FOV, and we trade overlap and all three-dimensionality, trying to achieve a few extra degrees of the wider vision. And yet Crystal Light is literally the first headset that has the widest vision and the best overlap at the same time. So I think this is what makes it so immersive and feel like you are actually sitting in this plane cabin and flying in a three-dimensional world. And of course, a huge bonus on top of that is this contrast. Like you see, the sun is falling on the cabin. It not only looks so, like all the shadow, they help to sell this three-dimensionality way better too. And I think that this shitty tracking is because I put a light that is shining directly into my face, and it's just making like this nonsense. Because when I was playing yesterday, like it can lose tracking like this, but it will lose like, you know, once in a half an hour, and you know, you do like a couple circles and you know your tracking is back. But now it's constantly like losing every like 5 minutes, and I think because I have light shining directly into my face and into the cameras. Another, yeah, of course, like another, like the biggest issue for me using the Crystal Light is this like fucking cable. This is so thick, as you know, an electrical extension cable you plug into the wall. And I hate it so much. Sometimes, you know, I simply like sit and put my back on a chair, and you know, I press on a cable and it pulls on my headset. It's even like sitting down is so annoying. And of course, most of the time I play VR with a full body, like all dancing and fitness games, and of course having a cable is a completely no-go for all that type of stuff. And this is like the Pimax has contacted me, you know, to make a review on this headset when they released it, like, I don't know, several months, even maybe a year ago. And I turned them down because I thought, you know, this like is like ridiculously, it's called light, but this is like, it seemed like ridiculous big headset. And this is another like thing that many YouTubers do not tell you. They say, oh, you know, the Pimax is so big, it's so heavy. It looks big and heavy, but if you put the headset on actual weights, on actual scales, it weighs under 1 kilo, exactly the same weight my Quest 3 weighs, with the battery strap and modifications I have put you know, on that headset to make it usable. And even with all, you know, head straps, all the modifications I have tried for the Quest, it's still my least favorite and least comfortable headset. So, you know, I was impressed even by the stock head strap and by the stock comfort on the Pimax Crystal Light, because it's really not even that bad how people, or maybe some YouTubers, try to sell you. Especially I've seen one like Optimum channel where the guy has like, you know, 1 million views, 1 million subscribers, and he is like making the most BS videos, like showing the stock Quest 3 and, you know, stock Pimax, and claiming, you know, Quest 3 is twice lighter, like only at half a kilo. It's just complete nonsense, because nobody is using the Quest 3 with the stock head strap, and nobody is using it with a stock head strap because it's so uncomfortable and like unusable. So yeah, since I, you know, started playing this Microsoft Flight Simulator and like playing some shooters, some other games, I actually agreed to try Crystal Light, and I'm really blown away by the picture quality, especially after installing Hans VR lenses, because I tried using this headset with the glasses and it totally does not work with the glasses. Then, you know, I took my Hans VR lenses of my old Pico headset and 3D printed a spacer and put, like, you know, put those lenses inside the Pimax, and the image instantly looked better, like than Pico or Quest. Like, it looks sharper and, you know, like higher FPV, everything better. But still, there was something wrong with my 3D printed setup, because after installing this specific lenses for the Crystal Light from VR. Like I can now only see, you know, how much sharper and how much better actually the picture is than over my, you know, both Quest 3 and Quest Pro. And yeah, finally, how do I get Microsoft Light 2024 working in full resolution on Crystal Light and actually smooth. I think it's running 45 FPS stable, and you know it's using like reprojection is running like 90 Hz in a headset, so it looks like super smooth and actually playable because I'm running Microsoft Light beta free, so we have finally fixed some performance issues. Of course, I'm using DLSS Vapor to install the latest DLSS. I think I'm using Performance K model. And I did have to hack Windows to, I think, disable some feature like Resizable bar or whatever it was called. And that freed up over 2 gigs of VRAM. And I'm running Pimax Crystal in like this Quadrants rendering mode. And actually, the funny thing, these lenses are so sharp, sometimes I can even see this little line at the outside of my view where, you know, it renders a lower quality image. And, you know, we are both like full quality and lower quality peripheral images meet. I can see that, you know, dividing line between the better and worse picture. Okay, I will try to turn off light and see if it helps with the tracking. So the last thing why this runs so well, because I have decided to make a silly mission, right, to take this German bomber, and we are flying actually now over Israel, and you know, I made a mission to, like, you know, take off at Israel and, you know, fly to drop bombs in Iran. And now we like flew into the city, but all this way, you know, we were flying over mountains with no like super rural areas. And this is why again, in the cities, like the Microsoft Light, you see like it looks much worse. Like, you know, first of all, like these trees look so ugly and the buildings. And when you fly into the mountains, you know, it's only dirt and trees. And not only it does look much better, you know, without seeing these ugly buildings, but the performance is much better, because now I can feel like a little stutters. And another thing here, because I selected the, you know, sunrise for our flight time, you can really now experience, you know, the contrast on the Pimax. So yeah, in conclusion, I think this video is getting maybe really long and boring, and I really don't do this, you know, fly and talk videos with no script and anything. But yeah, in conclusion, in my opinion, like Crystal Light, after trying it, after, you know, using PlayStation VR 2, using like micro OLED headsets and, you know, all Quest headsets, I think for PCVR, if you have a PC, at least like mine, RTX 4070 Super is like the minimum card to run this game at a full resolution. Yeah, if you have a PC and if you want best resolution, best FOV, best 3D feel, and best colors, best lenses, and best, like, you know, best everything, the Crystal Light is the headset you want to go. And this is what I'm doing, you know. I have this headset on loan for Pimax, and it's usually like, you know, sitting on my shelf, but when I want to fly, I fly on a Crystal Light. I recently played that game Midnight Walk. Again, it's very dark, it's perfect for this headset. So I played that one, and it's like, you know, very basic, very slow. You can play those games like, I even played Breachers, and it like, again, Breachers is very well optimized, and it like literally blow your mind if you played it on Quest and will play it on Pimax. Like it looks like a next generation game. Again, simply because all the shadows and colors and 3D like, you know, I have played 100 rounds of Breachers on Quest, and playing first time on a Pimax, I was blown away. Like, it completely looked like a different game. Like basically RTX, basically NVIDIA RTX off on Quest and RTX on the Pimax. How much more, you know, colors and shadows and everything you can see. So yeah, so definitely turning off the light helped with the tracking, but you can still see him, you know, flying for 15 minutes or something, and yeah, the headset can still lose tracking. But you look around, and now it's like backtracking. So that's the main area where Pimax needs to put some extra work. I think, like, yeah, cutting this cable is like another would be like the huge selling point if like the Pimax Dream Air or whatever we have, if it will have a wireless option. I think I might buy the headset if the picture quality is the same as this Crystal Light. And it has wireless, and it has mixed reality cameras for, you know, to completely replace my Quest. Because now, like when I need to record videos, when I, you know, play all the full body fitness games, etc., I use my Quest Pro for recording. I sacrifice, you know, some visual quality just to have a wireless headset and, you know, make my recording videos easy. But when I want, you know, when I'm sitting down, like playing racing game, playing flight simulator, or even playing with lazy shooters that you stand in one place and, you know, just wave your arms, like the Crystal Light makes complete sense. And I see like so many like Reddit posts and, you know, even YouTubers like putting negative reviews about this headset, and I think it's totally not deserving all the bad press. And I think many of these YouTubers, they are simply lazy and they do not actually test these headsets well. If they do not notice that the Crystal actually has better FOV and better overlap, they simply looks at the specifications, or there is some stupid like FOV tool that measures FOV incorrectly. It measures like, you know, 100 something degrees on my Quest, and it measures 103 degrees on this Crystal, which is lower than the Quest 3, and obviously that cannot be true, because on a Crystal I get like, you know, it's like an ultra wide monitor. I can get, you know, a lot of space, extra view on both sides. So it cannot have like a lower FOV than the Quest, but that tool is simply not designed, you know, to measure FOV on a pancake and, you know, spherical lenses like this Crystal has. So it maybe, you know, that tool worked on all like headsets with the Fresnel lenses, but it makes completely no sense using it on this headset. So basically, I see many comments, people, you know, claiming the FOV is not good on a Crystal Light, because they are quoting specifications or the tool. If you even look at the product page on a Crystal Light, they put a very nice picture that illustrates this perfectly. You know, your average view on your Quest just slightly over 100 degrees if you are using like Hans VR lenses and, you know, have it perfectly set up. Yeah, and now you see the sim is lagging. Yeah. So if you have it perfectly set up, yeah, you get like a slightly over 100 degrees of view on the Quest 3. And on Pimax you get 130 degrees, and mostly with just a wider view to both sides. That is the most noticeable. And how the game renders and how these lenses work, you get basically the same 100 degrees of perfect image, like no distortions, no anything. Like the lens quality is the same as on a Quest. And you get that extra space that if you have some menus or something, maybe if you try to like look very side of your eye, you might notice some chromatic aberration. And again, when I was using glasses and using like my DIY, my do-it-myself, Pico lenses adapted on Crystal, I did notice more chromatic aberrations at the edges, but after installing these Hans VR lenses, it's actually the whole, like now I do not see any chromatic aberration in actual games, but if I pull the menu and I will look at with a side eye, trying to put it at the very edge of my view, then instead of white text you will see some shadows like in green and blue. That means that different color at the very edge of the lens is being broken at at different angles, and this is why you get these shadows. And by the way, this is like why I do not like micro OLED headsets, because we have super tiny lenses and you have to adjust your eyes perfectly. You have to literally adjust the headset so close to your eye that it would be almost barely touching your eyeball. You constantly have your eyelashes brushing against the glass, which is again very filthy, because it will get the glass dirty and will make your image worse. And it's like you can brush bacteria onto your eye and get eye infection, which is like very bad too. So I hate those headsets because of their small lenses and the stupid design. And they still, even if you put your eyes perfect, they still have distortion, like a lot of chromatic aberrations and a lot of like focus distortion at the edge of the lenses. Like any micro OLED headset I have tested. And even the ones I have not tested, like the big screen Beyond 2. I have watched some videos and I think like some YouTubers are straight up shilling the headset, and some YouTubers put some through the lens videos and shows exactly the same problem, like a lot of chromatic aberrations at the edge of your view and very small field of view in general, and very bad 3D overlap in general, like especially if you compare to a headset like a Pimax Crystal. Even if you're comparing to the Quest 3, you cannot like tell that micro LED headsets are better than the Quest 3, not to mention comparing to it something like the Pimax.